When astronauts travel to space, something amazing happens to their bodies. They can grow taller by as much as 5 centimeters, or about 2 inches. This might sound like a strange kind of magic, but it actually has a clear scientific explanation. The change happens because of how the human body reacts to microgravity, the very weak gravity that exists in space. On Earth, gravity is constantly pulling everything, including our bodies, downward. In space, that pull is almost gone, and this allows the body, especially the spine, to stretch out. To understand why astronauts get taller, we first need to look at the spine, which is the backbone of the human body. The spine is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae. Between each vertebra are soft, jelly-like discs that act like cushions or shock absorbers. These discs allow the spine to bend and move, and they also take in pressure when we stand, sit, or walk. On Earth, gravity constantly pushes down on us. This pressure slightly compresses the discs in our spines, making the vertebrae sit closer together. Over time, the spine becomes a little shorter during the day. That is why, even on Earth, people are usually a bit taller in the morning after lying down all night, and slightly shorter in the evening after standing all day. In space, things are very different. Astronauts float around because there is very little gravity acting on their bodies. Without the strong downward pull of gravity, the pressure that normally squeezes the spinal discs is gone. When this pressure is removed, the discs expand and absorb more fluid, making them thicker and spongier. As a result, the distance between each vertebra increases, and the whole spine lengthens. This is what causes astronauts to grow taller while they are in space. The effect can be quite noticeable, sometimes as much as 3 to 5 centimeters. The stretching of the spine doesn't just make astronauts taller, it can also affect their comfort and health. When the spine elongates, it changes the shape of the body slightly. Some astronauts report feeling mild back pain or stiffness during their first days in space. This discomfort happens because the muscles and ligaments that support the spine are being stretched more than usual. It is similar to the soreness someone might feel after doing an intense stretching exercise. Fortunately, this back pain usually goes away after a few days as the body adjusts to its new conditions. However, the change in height doesn't last forever. Once astronauts return to Earth and gravity starts pulling on their bodies again, the spinal discs compress back to their normal size. Within a few days of being back on the ground, the astronauts return to their usual height. So, the growth in height is only temporary, a reversible change caused by the difference between Earth's gravity and microgravity in space. Scientists and doctors who study astronauts pay close attention to these physical changes because they can tell us a lot about how the human body adapts to living in space. Understanding spinal decompression is important not only for comfort, but also for safety. The lengthening of the spine can affect the fit of spacesuits and spacecraft seats, which are designed based on the astronaut's height on Earth. If an astronaut becomes taller in space, their suit or seat might feel tighter or uncomfortable. NASA and other space agencies carefully measure astronauts before and after flights to make sure everything still fits properly. The study of what happens to the human body in space is called space physiology. Scientists have discovered that microgravity affects almost every part of the body, not just the spine. Muscles and bones become weaker, fluids shift toward the head, and balance can be affected. The spine's expansion is just one of the many ways the body adjusts to a new environment where gravity hardly exists. To help reduce discomfort and protect their backs, astronauts follow special exercise routines while they are in space. The International Space Station, ISS, is equipped with exercise machines like treadmills, stationary bicycles, and resistance devices. These help keep the astronauts' muscles and bones strong and also reduce some of the spinal problems caused by microgravity. Stretching exercises are especially important to help maintain flexibility and relieve tension in the back. The phenomenon of growing taller in space also gives scientists insight into how gravity affects our bodies here on Earth. It reminds us how important gravity is for keeping our bones, muscles, and joints in balance. It also helps doctors understand certain back problems that people experience on Earth, such as spinal disc swelling or lower back pain. Studying astronauts provides useful information that can improve medical treatments for people who suffer from these conditions. In short, astronauts grow taller in space because the lack of gravity allows their spines to stretch out. The soft discs between the bones of the spine expand, increasing the total length of the backbone. This change can make them up to 5 centimeters taller, but it is only temporary. Once they return to Earth, gravity compresses their spines again, and they return to their normal height. This fascinating effect shows how adaptable the human body is, and how even small changes in the environment, like the loss of gravity, can have surprising results.